So let's talk about some additional things to the Fed hiking rates, right? So we always talked about mortgages and how that's affecting the housing market. We've talked about that ad nauseum. Watch any video we've done. But it affects other sectors, including banks. So I kind of want to get into it.
Oh my God, there's a run on a bank out in Silicon Valley.
That's exactly right.
A bank run.
Right.
What? When was the last time we saw that?
Silicon Valley Bank.
Yep, SVB. Mm-hmm. What is it with all these initial people? First you had the crypto guy. What was it? SBF. And now we have SVB, these initials. We're NBI. Are we next?
We might be. But I mean, you got to start to kind of understand it. So you have to look at how banks make money, right?
How?
So because...
Oh, wait. How do banks make money? Ben, get into it. And then I'm going to break it down for the people because you're way too high level.
Well, it's not even...
And no, I'm not calling the people stupid, but I'm stupid, so I have to break it down for myself.
If you heard that, go after him on
come after
social media. He'd love to talk to you about it. All right. So anyways, how banks make money. So when you deposit your money into the bank, it doesn't just sit there. So if you go into a bank, if everyone wanted to go into Wells Fargo right now and say, hey, can I have my money? They can't pay everyone. They don't have it. What do they do with it? They invest it. They turn around and they invest it. And a lot of it is long-term investments, meaning they can't get that money right away. So what happens when they need the cash flow? They have to borrow it. So you have these things where they invested it. They have these things giving them returns from a year more ago that was giving them 2% returns. Now they're going and getting 4 or 5% returns on the money that they're borrowing. They are constantly losing money. That constantly hurts the banks. When they drastically increase, when the Fed is drastically increasing rates, it puts a massive strain on banks. Just the way that the secondary market works. So you have, for example, Silicon Valley Bank, who has been, so they're the ones who a lot of the Silicon Valley, like the tech companies, they're the ones who lend to them. So you have all of their money that they have been investing 2-3 years ago. Guess what's happening now? They're not getting as much business. So they're not generating as much. They are borrowing money to pay people back. And at the same time, they're borrowing that at higher interest rates. So at the end of the day, they are losing.
So they're losing money.
Right. And it's a matter of time before it cuts. And that's what the Fed's doing.
So
is causing
basically
issues.
what you're telling me is this. Yes. Well, I don't know if the Fed's causing issues or if that was bad business, because obviously you have your assets over leveraged in one thing. So they're not diversified as a bank. So I was reading a little bit into this. Call me boring, but that's what I like to do. I like to read. So it's bad business. And here's what the banks do. So basically what you told me is I deposit my money. So I have $100,000. I put it in the bank.
Right.
Donovan has $100,000. He puts it in the bank. You have $100,000. You put it in the bank. All of our money, we have $300,000 in the bank. They're taking a portion of that, probably up to 90% based off of what I was reading, because they'll leave 10% on hand. So if you think all the people who have money in the bank, we'll call it $1 billion.
Right.
Sometimes they will take up to 90% of that and they'll lend it out. They pay you. What do you get on the savings right now? Like what is interest earned? Like
19 cents or something now? No, one.
It's like point something percent, right?
Yeah.
So 0.4%.
I think it's like 0.19% or something.
Okay, so 0.19%, less than 0.4, less than 0.2%. So you're getting 19% of 1% in interest on the money that you have in the bank. So they're paying you 0.19% to keep your money in the bank, and then they're lending that out, and they're charging 7, 8, 10%, 12% in certain instances, right? And that's what they're receiving on your money that you lend out. And if we all went into the bank at the same time, they wouldn't have our money to give us.
Right.
So if you've ever one of my favorite Christmas movies, It's a Wonderful Life, where there was a bank run. It's what caused the Depression.
Yeah.
There was a bank run in 2008, which they had to the federal government had to come in and bail people out.
Right.
And save those banks. There was a bank run and a lot of people got hurt. And when you hear about mattress money, a lot of times it's the older generation who lived through the Depression. The reason they leave their money under the mattress or in the shoebox, because banks collapsed. My grandpa used to leave his dollar bills in an old coffee container and leave it in his kitchen up high, so it just looked like a can of coffee, but it had a bunch of money in it, right?
Right.
So it's because, and the sad part is they're taking your money, they're lending it out, and they can't even give it back to you. Now I get it, the bank has to earn money, but when you're over leveraged in one particular, so this bank, SVB, not to be confused with the crypto guy, Sam Bankman-Fried, all these 3-letter S's, I guess we're safe because we're NBI. There's not an S in the beginning. But long story short, they're using your money to make money. I understand the business model. However, you want to be damn sure that bank has the liquidity. And this Silicon Valley Bank is a newer bank, and they did a lot of investing in venture capitalists. They did a lot of investing into startups. So guess what happens when the economy starts shrinking and you're over leveraged in startups?
Right. Exactly.
Right. They fail.
Yeah.
And then you lose your money, and then you want to go get your money, and they don't have your money.
Right. And then what happens? The government bails them out.
Well, the bigger thing is it's not normal people like us either that are pulling the money. It's multi-billion-dollar companies or companies that have a couple $100 million in there, right? So they're like, and a lot of times they're Silicon Valley people because they're Silicon Valley Bank. So it might be a tech company that's like, hey, move our money,
right?
Put it in Bank of America, because Bank of America is multi-billion-dollar multinational corporation, right? Worldwide, which they were originally Bank of Italy. They aren't even an American company, just so you know. They rebranded when they came here in the 1900s, but that's neither here nor there. So anyways, there's big companies pulling money, and now if you have your money in there, you're getting nervous, you're pulling your money. And a lot of this, I don't think the bank is in the position where it's going to fail. I don't think the federal government's going to let it fail.
No,
however, a lot of this is caused by fear. If people just stop pulling their money, everything would be okay from what I was reading, but they're pulling their money, and they have the right to do that.
They do. But I mean, you brought up a good point. The federal government's not going to allow it. So what's going to happen with that? Because we just talked earlier in this episode about the government needs to stop spending, to stop inflation, to stop the rates hike. More. So now they're spending more money to bail out people because the rates had to hike so quickly. So I mean, where does it end? I mean,
I don't know. I don't know where it ends. I think it's a continuous cycle, and us, the people, have to. If you're an American, you have to maybe take a look at what's going on with the federal government and say, this isn't working. Getting into more debt, printing more money, driving inflation up. This is not working.
Right.
My answer, where does it end, is with smaller government, smaller federal government, less control. More control to the local and state governments, and then you kind of can make decisions that way. That's my opinion, and that's considered maybe controversial, but that's how we were originally set up as a country.
That's my opinion too, but it's never going to happen.
Why do you say that?
Because look at the way everything's going right now in this country. I mean, do I want that to happen? Yes, but we talked about financial literacy being an issue. People need to look more into things, make their own opinions, and come together and be more educated. We're getting further and further away from that.
Okay, so you're saying we're getting further away from it, and I'm saying we're getting closer to the pendulum swinging very hard back the other way, because there's only so long you can keep pushing this division in this country before people sit down and start having a conversation. I talk to Donovan every day. We have a lot of differences, but we get along great. And I know one thing: I want him to live a free and prosperous life, as well as I want to live a free and prosperous life. I want you to live a free and prosperous life, and we're all not prospering together in certain situations. Absolutely. This isn't my opinion and your opinion are different opinions, and it doesn't matter what our opinions are, what our beliefs are. This is not working for a lot of people, and I think people are starting to come together. So I believe in this country, the pendulum goes wee, and it's going to swing really hard this way. And I think we are there already, and I think it's starting to come back down, and it's still up here, and it feels like we're so far gone, but I think we're a little bit less far gone. I'm telling you.
I hope you're right. I mean, the mainstream media, people buy into the mainstream media still, and
their viewing and their ratings are lower than they've ever been in the history of the world. Since they've been in existence, they are lower than they've been in a long, long, long time. And the only reason that it didn't fall off quicker and people stopped listening quicker is because Donald Trump was a lightning rod, and it kept it kept Fox News, CNN, it kept their ratings super high, MSNBC, all of them. It kept their ratings high. But you look more and more and more, people don't necessarily agree with this. But yeah, it's just that the ratings are down.
Okay. So at that point, I kind of want to give everyone a reminder to hit that subscribe button. Click that notification bell. Make sure to like this video. Leave a comment. Let us know your thoughts on everything, and follow us on all social media. That is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, Rumble. Any forgetting any other ones?
Not that I know off the top of my head.
Yeah, make sure you reach out. I mean, like we were just talking about, like, we need to come together. This is a time that we do need to come together. So bring up your ideas. Let's have a conversation. Let's see if we can't start moving in the right direction.
We are moving in the right direction. I will say that.